Where do I find you these days? Where are you based?
I'm actually in Katherine in the Northern Territory at the moment.
Oh, wow.
I know, very far north.
Goodness, is that permanent, temporary, or?
Oh, look, who knows? I'm just winging it at the moment. I'm sure everybody is, but yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes. I just am really liking it here at the moment, and I've got a really good job, and that allows me to create freely, which is nice.
Good. Be nice and peaceful too, I'd imagine.
Beautiful, yeah. Starting to get busy now, though, with all the dry seasons coming and all of the tourists.
Sure. Okay, we'll just cover a few things and we'll talk specifically about the new record, if that's okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Did you do the Tamworth thing this year?
I did go to Tamworth, yes. I didn't play a lot, but I did go there, and I had a wonderful time with all my friends and catching up with a lot of people I haven't seen in a really long time.
But performing-wise, a lower profile than normal.
Yeah, definitely. It's just something that I needed to do for myself, I think, this year.
Sure. Well, you're a Tamworth girl. That's where you grew up. Have you ever pondered how much the influence in your taste in music would have been had you not grown up there?
Look, that's a funny question, actually. I often wonder that myself. Being exposed to country music so young, both of my parents had very, very good taste in music. But, yeah, I often wonder about the country music influence and what I may have done if there wasn't so much country music around when I was growing up.
Before your recording career, you did a stint at the Academy of Country Music, as many have. How do you look back on that time now? Are there any standout things that you took out of that experience that have stayed with you ever since?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, there is. That was where I met Shane Nicholson, who's recorded all of my recordings up into the brand new one. And I've met some friends. I met some friends there that I will be friends with for the rest of my life. And there was some really amazing talks by people who had been in the industry for a long time, and I learnt some really amazing and invaluable lessons off them through the academy. It was amazing. If there's anyone listening that's considering doing it, I highly recommend applying for it and trying to get in, because it was really incredible. It set me up really well.
From an outsider looking in, there really seems to be a great, I guess what you call a sense of community and comradeship amongst the country music fraternity in Australia. Would that be a fair observation?
Yeah, definitely. We're kind of the minority of the minority, so a very small part of a fairly small music industry. So we kind of have to take care of each other, and as musicians, we all need to stick together at the moment and take care of each other as much as we can. And yeah, it really does feel like there's a lot of love and a lot of friendship in our beautiful country music family.
It's a long-held cliche that album number 2 is the difficult one. You have a lifetime worth of songs to choose from for the first album, but suddenly you've got to come up with new material. And well, if you're asking me, I think you've passed the second album test with flying colours. How do you think you've done?
Wow, that's cool. Thank you. Look, I don't know. I try not to overanalyze it too much, because it gets right into my brain, and then I can't get rid of it. So I'm happy that the songs are out into the world, and it's always going to be a snapshot of a really strange time for a lot of people, I think, writing these songs during the pandemic, almost all of them, and this weird time that we're just kind of navigating our way out of at the moment. I guess it is a bit of a scary thing to have to back up the debut album, but I tried not to think about that too much, and just really wanted to put out something that I was really proud of, and I think that I've done that. And thanks to Matt Fell and his genius, he could put tracks together that were recorded all over the country and make them sound like they were all done in the studio together at the same time, which they weren't. It was the only full-length album that he made during COVID, and all of the tracks were just from all over the place. So he certainly earned his money. He certainly earned his producer title by having to put all these bits and pieces together, but he's done a great job.
Because he pretty much did it all remotely, didn't he?
Yeah, well, everybody was in lockdown. Like the whole country was in lockdown. So the first round of songs that we recorded for the album, I say we loosely because I wasn't even there. I wasn't even in the state. And everybody was just spread out all over the place and recording their tracks in their own home studios. And yeah, it was just a really interesting process.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare, but it sounds like it all went seamlessly.
Again, thanks very much, Matt Fell, for your genius. He's just absolutely incredible at what he does, and yeah, as long as it sounds like that we were all in the same room at the same time, he's done a brilliant job.
Yeah, no, he's achieved that for sure. Hey, I saw you quoted as saying that this album is one you didn't know you needed to make until you wrote the song. So in that sense, was it it was a therapeutic element to putting this record together for you, considering the state of the world at the moment?
Yeah, it really has been a therapeutical kind of. I guess the reason I said that it's because I didn't know I needed to make it is I guess that the songs didn't really have the same meaning, I guess, when I was writing them as they do now. Like there's a lot of double meanings and really interesting reflections and things like that I didn't really know were happening at the time. But listening back to all of the tracks now, yeah, it's just, I guess it is a bit of an outlet, I think, for a lot of emotions and self-reflection and questioning that we did during the pandemic, and a lot of isolation and a lot of, strange relationships with people that may never have happened, and, this whole weird outlook on the world that changed. And I think that hopefully it comes out in the songs that, that was there. But I think there's also a bit of positivity in there too, a little bit of hope that, no matter how dark the darkness gets, well, there's still, as cliche as it sounds, a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
One thing that stands out to me is the honesty. It's an extremely honest album. And as a listener to music yourself, is that one quality you really look for in an artist?
Oh, yeah, I do. I really do. And it's great to hear somebody say that. So thanks. It is so important to me. You can have great songs and you can have a great performer, but to me, authenticity is really what shines through in the music that I love, and what you can really hear that surpasses anything else in the songs or in the music is how real and authentic that it is. And it's so important to me. So to hear someone say that that's me, I'm very grateful and very happy.
Well, I guess if you're being honest and true to yourself, it's all part of the package. Being honest to your listener is a given after that, isn't it?
Absolutely. You can't go wrong. Anything really honestly from the heart and authentically it's never going to go wrong. You can never fail if you just stay true to who you are and honest to what you want to say. You can't ever go wrong.
So if you could pin a central theme on this record, what do you think it would be?
I don't know if there really is a theme. I still think, it really feels like a snapshot of, I did say that before, a snapshot of how I was feeling, I think, at the beginning of the pandemic. There was a lot of questioning, a lot of sadness and weirdness and sorrow. Everybody lost so much in the lockdown. There was so many people that lost their jobs, lost work. All of us musicians just lost everything. And yeah, I guess that would have to be probably the theme that sort of runs through. Feels a little bit desperate, but hopeful, I think.
Now, you've certainly reached out for the best of producers on both your records now, with Shane doing the first album and now Matt Fell with this one. How do they differ in their approaches?
Well, it's really hard to tell because of my recording with Matt obviously was a COVID record, so that there was nothing really normal about that recording process at all. So as far as being in the studio with Shane for a week or two and choosing the songs on the day and watching them build and grow from the ground up, that's sort of one experience. But yeah, recording with Matt and, us communicating via phone, email, text, Dropbox folder, whatever. It's, it was completely different. And it was, look, it's all a learning experience. Who knows? It might be the way of the future of recording. I don't know. But yes, they were both starkly different experiences. So who knows what might happen with the next one or from here forward now.
Yeah. Now, Shane didn't totally disappear from the creative process. So he was still involved in this record, doing backing vocals on Save You Now, which was a single release. Tell us about that song. Quite an emotional one.
Yeah, look, again, it's just, it was one of those times where you just, give yourself a bit of a forehead slap and go, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done this time? And there's a lot of self-reflection, a lot of, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What are we all going to do, sort of thing. And I feel like that's, but it's, I guess it's got a bit of a light-hearted sort of bluegrassy feel, which makes it sound a bit more uplifting, because I don't want to be all doom and gloom all the time, so I can help it. I like there to be something positive that people can take out of it.
The title track, Dead Men Tell No Tales, is quite a story behind that one as well. I believe I read it began as something of an apology to a friend, but took a different turn. Can you tell us about that one?
It did, yeah. It ended up being a goodbye song because he passed away within a couple of weeks of me writing the song, and I didn't get to tell him that I had written it or anything. So, and I've actually dedicated the album to him as well. He was a good friend of mine, and he said that he told me something in confidence, and of course I did the wrong thing and told somebody about it, and not out of gossip or out of malice or anything savage, but out of love and care, and I shouldn't have done it. And I got pulled up. I did get pulled up over it, and we had it changed our relationship. It was a good lesson for me and in adult relationships, and someone who loves me and wants to be in my life, had the opportunity to be able to say that I'd upset them or disappointed them, and the only way I could apologise or think to apologise was, of course, to write a song about it. So, but so that's that story.
And did he get to hear the song?
No, he never heard the song, and he never got to even find out that I wrote it.
Oh, shame.
Yeah.
Now, the trend these days is to drop a few singles as a precursor to the full album release. So was there any criteria that you used in choosing which songs to drop first?
No, not at all. I really don't have any formula or any specific way that I do anything like that. I really just let my heart guide it and let the music tell a story, let the music decide. I'm not really someone who does things the way that they're supposed to do them, and sometimes there's video clips, sometimes there's not. I guess I like to pick the songs that I think have a message that I'd like people to hear. But I try and let my heart just guide what I think that I should release. I've never really worried too much about chart positioning and stuff like that. No. I've been very lucky, but yeah, I just let the music decide.
Chart success not the motivation at all.
No, not at all. No, I mean, it's great to have people hear the songs and hear it on the radio and stuff like that. But yeah, it's never the motivation for me.
As one co-write on the album, All These Horses, written with Ben Leese, an emerging songwriter in his own right. Did the co-writing process, how did that work between the two of you?
Well, we're all in lockdown, so it was via text message. It was just, a lot of collaborations I don't think that would have normally happened in everyday life. When everyone was in lockdown, everyone was sort of trying to find things to keep them occupied and stay creative. And Ben and I have been friends for a long time, and I just messaged him. I've always been a huge, huge fan of his. I just adore what he does. He's just an incredibly insightful and passionate songwriter and performer. And I just messaged him and said, do you want to write a song? And he said, yes. Have you got any ideas? And I just shot a few lines across to him that I'd written that morning. And he kind of asked me what I was thinking for the song, and it just grew from there. So it was just, again, a really interesting process. I've never co-written a song like that before, and and it just worked.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of that.
The mobile phone's become something of a songwriter's best friend over the last few years, hasn't it?
It sure has, absolutely. I don't know where I'd be without my voice memos. That's for sure.
In general, do you enjoy the co-writing process?
Yeah, I do. It just depends on the co-write. I mean, any songwriter will tell you that every co-write's different. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth. Other times it's just easy, simple, and comes out in 10 minutes. But that same process is the same for individual songwriting as well. You know, sometimes we can sit down and a song will just pop out in a few minutes, and then other times it's something that you work really hard on for 12 months or more. Just depends.
Yeah. One cover on the album, a cover of John Williamson's Wintergreen. Was there anything in particular about that song that for you fit the mood of the rest of the record?
Oh, look, that's a song that I've just been singing for a really long time that I just adore. I'm a huge John Williamson fan. He's the reason that I do what I do. He's the reason I wanted to be a performer and play guitar and travel Australia, and he's the reason for all of it. So I guess I just wanted to pay a bit of to say thank you for writing such a beautiful song for a start. I mean, it's just such an incredible song, and a lot of the times I perform songs and I really am, you know, singing them to myself, and I felt that about Wintergreen. You know, a lot of the lyrics, I just really, it resonated with me, and it's such a beautiful song, and I've had so many comments from people about my version of it on the album, so that's really special. It's really special that I found such a beautiful connection with somebody else's song like that.
Oh, that's great. Any feedback from John himself?
No, but I saw him in Tamworth and I gave him a CD, and hopefully he will enjoy it.
I'm sure he will.
But yes, we had a chat in Tamworth, and that was just before his show at the town hall, which was a little bit mind-blowing for me still. I still fangirl. I can't help it. So hopefully he'll let me know what he thinks.
For sure. So for someone picking up this record for the first time and putting it on, is there any one song that you would point to as the centerpiece song, the one that defines what the album is all about more than any of the others?
Yeah, I think maybe Down to the Waterhole would be a really good starting point. I feel like that's a track that kind of pulls all of the other ones together. You know, Down to the Waterholes I wrote after I heard a story by the beautiful Warren H. Williams, who's a good friend of mine, and he was telling me a story about somebody who went out to Hermannsburg, which is where he's from, and I guess did a bit of soul searching. And I kind of feel like that's, if there is a theme to the record, I guess it is a bit of soul searching. And, you know, there's all different kinds of moods on this record. I think, you know, there's some real, you know, screw you, I'm going to get through this kind of vibes, but there's also a lot of sadness and a lot of questioning, and there's some anger, there's some sorrow, and I think Down to the Waterhole pulls it all together because it started with some soul searching, that song, so I feel like that's a really good centerpiece.
I saw you described it as your most personal set of songs. At any point, do you get tentative about putting out too much of yourself in song, if you know what I mean? Yes, I was a little bit scared actually to do that, because a lot of the stuff that on Bone Digger and the other songs that I've recorded, they tend to be a bit metaphoric, and I do hide a lot in stories that aren't real, or make stories up that aren't real. But these ones are pretty close to the bone. So yeah, it's a little bit scary and a little bit intimidating to put so much of your, you know, who you are out there. And yeah, look, it's one of those things as a songwriter. You have to take the risk. You have to take the risk, because if it's going to soothe my soul by writing them, then I'm sure that it's going to hopefully soothe someone's soul by listening to them. Ah, beautifully put. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Sequencing the album tracks into an order, is that something you take a lot of care into these days, in the days where people can just program them any way they want?
Probably too much, to be honest. I don't know how many times I changed this track listing. I think it is really important. To me, it was super important, and I'm still a big believer in the creative process of an entire record, of an entire album that's been put together in order, and that journey that listening journey that you go on when you listen to somebody's record. So yeah, I did put a lot of time into the track listing, and I do. I think it's really important because I'm still a big believer in listening to someone's the entire body of work in order, because I feel like that's the way it was created, and it was created like that for a reason. So
exactly.
Yeah, I did pore over it quite a bit.
And just before I let you go, Alison, touring plans. What's the plans for the rest of this year? We're going to take it on the road?
I don't really know. There's a few things in the works at the moment. I've got a couple of music festivals coming up, but I think I'm just going to wing it at the moment. It's really difficult for me to make plans. It's for me to trust the system, if you will, yet. Things aren't going to change too much because, as musicians, we've been up and down and let down so many times in the last couple of years. I might just give it a little bit before I start going to book any major tours. But yes, there will always be touring. There will always be music. So maybe not straight away, but there will definitely be some a little bit further down the track.
Well, when you're ready to up and go and do that, we'll all be here ready and waiting to see you. So congratulations on a fantastic second album. It's a brilliant piece of work.
Thank you so much. That's really amazing.
Thanks. We look forward to seeing you back on the road when you're ready.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you down there soon.
All the best. Thanks, Alison.
Thank you.
Take care. Cheers.